Well, folks, it finally got me. I have COVID. Those of you who follow me on social media already know. Many of you sending well wishes, a few of you sending horrible messages, and you were summarily blocked, I guess I should say. I have to tell you that I had about a 28-ish hour period where I was as sick as I remember being in my entire life. And everybody in the house has it. My girlfriend has it. The little baby has it. Fortunately, my daughter actually seems to be having the easiest go of it. And it's interesting because on the Thursday and Friday show, I felt as I spoke that I had a little something in my voice that didn't sound quite right. And surprisingly, no one emailed me about it. I often get emails, from many of the moms in the audience who say, David, I've been around sick kids enough to know you didn't sound quite right on today's show or yesterday's show. And sometimes they're not even right. But nobody said anything to me about my voice Thursday, Friday. And later Thursday, about 5 o'clock, we were already done producing the Friday show as well. I started just not feeling quite right. I didn't really have a sore throat, but it didn't feel completely right. And I didn't have a cough, but I felt just like a little tickle somewhere in my chest. And then at a certain point, you get that revelation where you say to yourself, sir, and that's how I talk to myself. My internal dialogue is extremely polite and formal. I said to myself, sir, I think I may have a fever. And indeed, I had like 99. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, late Thursday, with like a 100.5 fever. And basically, from the middle of the night, early Friday, until later in the afternoon, Saturday, it is as sick as I remember being in my life. And it's not that my fever was that high. It didn't ever get above 101, but just the most painful, I don't know how to describe it, just painful fever malaise, one of the worst headaches I've ever had, and just really horrible. And then I quite literally couldn't do anything. I watched World Cup games, and thankfully Argentina won on Saturday. It would have been extremely, adding insult to injury to see Argentina lose while having COVID. And it was very clear, I had an insane sweating episode, and then my fever seemed to break, and I have been feeling better and better. The cold came in after. Like, I had really no cold symptoms at first. And then later, I started to get stuffed up. I got a bunch of Trump Sudafed, which is why I'm all hopped up on it right now. That's a joke, by the way. No, but I did use yesterday. I used Dayquil to manage the daytime congestion. And long story short, it morphed into a cold after the really horrible period. And then my daughter got the fever, and then my girlfriend, and it's all rotating, and it's crazy. And I learned about the existence of Tylenol suppositories for babies. We probably need a bonus show episode on Tylenol suppositories. We'll skip that for today. But long story short, I'm not on Paxlovid or Paxlovid, and the reason is my doctor said your health status and the severity of the symptoms don't really warrant it. And there's some not great side effects sometimes with the Paxlovid or Paxlovid. I don't know. Everybody says it a different way. I don't. It's like caramel. I don't know. The Paxlovid. And also, you can get this rebound COVID after 7 to 10 days. It'll get rid of your symptoms quick. But then 7 to 10 days later, you could have a rebound, and then you can't take the Paxlovid, and so then you kind of have to just suffer through it. So we made the decision, which seemed like the obvious one, not to take that. And let's hope it's just a recovery from here. So those of you who are watching know I'm wearing 12 masks today. No, I'm by myself in a studio, so I'm not wearing a mask, and that would be a strange thing to do on the show. But we're following all the protocols and doing everything. And hopefully, my hope is that in another 48 hours, everybody in the house will be out of the woods. Now, in terms of vaccines, David, or people on Twitter, are you vaccinated? Aren't you? I guess the vaccine doesn't do anything. Listen, I have no idea. The belief, there's two possibilities, right? I got as sick as I did because the vaccine didn't help me in any way, or I didn't get even sicker, potentially risking hospitalization. I don't know, Because I was fully vaccinated, including with the Omicron bivalent vaccine, which I got, I guess it was a couple of months ago. So I don't know. I only have myself as a test case on that. I don't know whether or how much sicker I would have been without it, but that's been the last, I guess, 72, 96 hours or something like that. So let's get into the show. There's so much to talk about. I'm glad to be here. And quite frankly, I have nothing else to do because I'm not doing anything. So let's get right into it.
As many of you know, I am fascinated by cons and scams and multi-level marketing and all of this different stuff. I recently saw Inside the Mind of a Con Artist on Curiosity Stream. It's 6 episodes and it was excellent. I don't think I would have discovered it were it not for our sponsor, Curiosity Stream. Curiosity Stream has all the newest and best documentary films. They've got the big titles from the well-known filmmakers. They've got valuable independent films, tons of original content that you can't find anywhere else. When I'm at home browsing my different streaming platforms, I find Curiosity Stream to really have the best selection of documentaries specifically, because documentaries is all that they have, and they're always adding new titles. My audience gets access to Curiosity Stream's entire library of documentaries for just $15 a year. That's 25% off. Go to curiositystream.com/Pakman or use the code Pakman. The link is down below.